Yeah, marvelous. Okay. Yeah, I'm on my Frank Lucas shit. 3-piece suits, Valentino cufflinks, LV shoes. I bring the shorty closer, just enough to feel the gun on the holster. Out on the balcony, feeling on the breeze. City skylines, we're puffing on some trees. Cup of Henny on the rocks with the soda. Maybach, front of the building with the chauffeur.
Welcome to the show. I don't know which camera I'm looking at, but I'm gonna go with Justin right there. I'm your host, Rick H. I'm joined by my brother, Benny Banks.
Yo, what's up? I'm here. I don't know which mic I'm with, but...
You got a lot of mics over there.
Chris,
I got more mics than expected.
This is supposed to be mine, I'm sorry. And our guest today is the star of La Soga, Jack Veneno, Bon Chow.
Every Law and Order.
Criminal Minds.
Person of Interest, NYPD Blue.
Washington Heights.
Everything.
Manny Perez. Manny Perez is here.
Thank you.
So, Manny, yes, and welcome to your neighborhood.
Oh,
welcome
thank
back
you.
to the bar. Welcome
Thank
back
you so
to
much.
the area. You know, we miss you. We like to see, you know.
Running around.
Yeah, we actually do. We like to see prominent figures
I would think
walking around. It gives people hope to reach for something else.
That's true. Damn, that's inspirational, bro.
That's
Yeah,
good.
it is.
That is deep.
It is deep.
You see actors walking around the
That's
heights,
how we going in?
That's how we're going in. Out the gate. So
Strong,
who is Manny Perez? Let's ask that question first. Where is Manny from? Where was he born? Where was he raised?
Well, is this working? I mean, can I put it?
Well, it picks up a lot of sound if you go like that.
Alright, I'll just sit back.
Manny, you can do whatever you want. You can slam that shit.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I
table, whatever you want, man.
Right, I should just. Anyway, well, I was born in Dominican Republic, and from a small town in Santiago.
Hey,
That's right, dude. Santiago in the house. It's crazy, you know. Where I was born, we had no water, we had no electricity, I had no shoes, none of this shit. And then my family moved to, when I was 10, moved to Providence, Rhode Island.
Where it's a big Dominican community there.
Yeah, by that time we were like the only Dominican
You were the
family.
first ones there?
We were one of the first ones.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when I turned 18, I moved to New York, to Washington Heights. My aunt still lives there, and then I came to college here. Then I just stayed here ever since, and here I am.
There you go. And he's back home.
You said Santiago, like Santiago.
No, un campo se llama Baitoa.
Baitoa.
That's right, Baitoa in the house.
We
By
got a
the
lot of
way,
Santiago Campo people in here.
there's a lot.
Happy belated birthday to Manny. His birthday's
thank you.
Cinco de Mayo. Just like Wanda.
That's right. Well, you know what's crazy? I want to say something about what he said because it's crazy. You know, you have a lot of Santiaguero people here,
Yeah.
which is great, right?
Yeah.
But then you go to DR, and none of these people hear bachata, merengue, none of that shit.
No.
And then they come here, and the first thing they do is pura bachata, loco, pura bachata. You know what's crazy? Isn't that crazy?
They want to feel like they're
It's
at
so
home.
crazy to me. I'm
Nah,
like,
you know what it is though? It's like the absence of it. Because when I spent some time on the West Coast, and the fact that you don't have any of it, like, I don't really eat mango on a regular basis. But the fact that I couldn't have mango, it made me want.
No tres golpes in LA.
It's like if you don't hear bachata like from a car coming down the block, then you feel like, yo, where the hell's all the bachata?
Yeah, it makes you feel like.
So C's, we had C's on the show. Cesar Perez, he designed the Nike Air Force De Lo Mio sneaker, and he said that the culture, the reason why he put a certain design on the sneaker is because the Dominicans are some of the only people that live in the U.S. with one foot in the U.S., but their mind and their body is still in the country back home. So, pero mi mente está allá. So that's exactly how it is, and he said it. That's why he designed the sneaker, and he put something in there. And thank you for letting him create the sneaker.
Another sponsor for you.
I mean,
Presidente Hala.
no, Presidente is the first one. So you have 11 siblings, similar to my mother. She comes from a family.
There you go.
Wow.
How's that like growing up with a?
It was great, dude.
What position were you?
I'm number 10 out of 11.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So
we
you're
were
one of the
actually
younger
we
ones.
were 14, but 3 were still born in those campos, and there's, you know, it's hard to get to the hospital, La Ciudad or whatever. But I'm number 10 out of 11. We're a very tight family. I mean, we're too fucking tight.
Yeah, you could curse.
Okay. Yeah, no, we're very tight, which is great, you know, and that sort of grounds me, you know, because it's crazy, you know. I do all these TV shows and I do all these. I worked with like Jennifer Lopez, Mark Anthony, Colin Farrell, whatever,
Cantante,
and those motherfuckers are like, loco, tú no eres actor, no, tú eres actor cuando tú trabajas con Arnold Schwarzenegger or Charles Bronson. Yo, Charles Bronson is dead. He's dead. But to them, it's like, that's when you be an actor.
No, but he's coming back.
He's coming back to life.
He's coming back to life just to do a movie with you.
Shout out Charles Bronson.
So that's sort of like, hey, it inspires me to continue.
So did they let you eat? I mean, it's 11 of you.
No, you gotta
Tienes que comer rápido.
Till this day.
La carne primero.
Sí, yo prendí esa vaina porque yo dejaba el salami para último y se lo daban a alguien que estaba de visita. So that's the first thing I eat now, is salami. Se va para adelante rápidamente.
So we could catch you with a plate of rice and beans, and we're gonna ask you where's the meat. It's gone already.
Ya se fue.
It's gone already. So let's start from the beginning. So you moved to the Heights when you were 18. That's after high school.
Exactly.
How'd you get into like acting, writing, and producing? Like,
Okay.
Did you always have a passion? Did you know?
Well, see, you know, when you come from a family of 11 kids and there was nothing to do, I was like the clown in the family. Yeah. I was always doing some stupid shit. Now you're like, yo, what are you doing, stupid shit? That was me. And so I always used to make people laugh. And so I was like, well, this is great. So then when we moved to Providence, there was a church down the street from me. And every weekend, there was all these little white boys and little white girls doing plays. And I'm like, ¿qué están haciendo esta gente? And then I was like, well, I want to go see. Yo no sabía nada de inglés. Y me metí en el grupito. And they were doing Peter Pan. And I was like, pues mira, I want to do this, but I didn't know English. Yeah. So they put me in it as one of the pirates. Yo estaba haciendo musaraña y vaina. Y yo dije haciendo musaraña y vaina. Y después, 2 años después, I sort of was learning English. I barely knew, but I knew how to break dance because that time was like break dancing was in. So I went into audition for in the Wizard of Oz, the Tin Man. But I was popping, you know, and I did that thing. They were like, yo, that's new. Oh, wow. So they put me as a Tin Man. So I rapped my song.
In English?
In English.
Okay.
Con un acento de otro mundo. Pero loco, they loved that I was popping. They were like, yeah, that's the kid. And ahí se me metió una fiebre. And then every summer I was in that theater in the basement of this church. And then I'm like, wow, man, I want to try this. I want to go to college for this. And then my dad, since we're a very tight family, the whole family worked in one factory. Okay. Entonces they were like, yo, when he's out of high school, él va para la factoría. Yeah. And I was like, Dad, I actually want to go to New York. He's like, are you crazy? And I'm like, I want to pursue the acting. He's like, what, are you fucking crazy? So then I'm like, look, man, none of my brothers and sisters, none of them went to college. And none of them, él quería un diploma, a degree. My father said,
that's the big thing.
Yo quiero un degree, un diploma. And I was like, look, I'll get you that diploma, but if you let me go to college. He's like, it's a deal. And that's how I came to New York, because he wanted that diploma. And that's how it happened.
Shout out Dad, man. That's dope.
At least your dad gave in.
Exactly.
Most families, no, tú tienes que conseguir tu trabajo, tienes que ser doctora, abogado, alguna cosa así. O eso no es seguro. Eso de actor, no, ¿qué tú haces? You're going to be a waiter?
Yeah, no, it's rough. I mean, it's rough, but yeah, I mean, I thank my dad because I thank my whole family. Even though, they're very supportive, even though they play this joke. And actually, it's not really a joke because that sort of inspired me to like continue doing what I want to do.
Pushing it harder.
Exactly.
Right. So you want to get to that point where they're like, okay, now you.
Yeah. He trabajado con Charles Bronson.
Were you in a lot of plays in high school?
No, not in high school. I did those plays for the
for the church.
For the church. And then in college, I did a lot of plays. I went to Marymount Manhattan College on the Upper East Side, whatever. And then I did off Broadways down in Theater for the New City, bunch of theaters in New York. Yeah. And then after college, it's crazy. I went in for this film, right? You can actually see it. It's called New York Undercover Cop. It's about a Japanese Arnold Schwarzenegger type because he was like a big. He was big. He was big in Japan, dude. Yeah. He was like it was like his first American film as like the star.
It sounds like a hit already.
Exactly. And then they had Mira Sorvino was her first film.
Oh really? Wow.
And it had Chad McQueen, who's Steve McQueen's son, his first film. and they were looking for a bad guy. So un puertorriqueño.
Yeah.
So I go in there, I do my thing, and so I go in to do my thing, and then they ask me to come back, do it again, and they gave me the part, like 3 days later, or whatever. And I was so happy, dude. I was like the bad guy, but I had no idea what I was doing because it's film, and I've never done film. It was my first film, but I was just living the moment, And this Japanese director, he's used to. That's what Japanese actors do. They're not, they just go crazy. So he's like, I like him, do that. So I was like, he loves me. I'm gonna do what I'm, So I continued doing that, and that was my first film.
And after that, is that when you got into Watch the Heights, the movie, or you just did a bunch of
let me tell you,
it's
crazy. So then I did a lot of New York Undercover. I did all these shows, and I was the bad guy. I'm like, man, when am I gonna stop with this bad guy thing? I have that face.
It's a face, man.
So then I said, you know what? I'm gonna write my own shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna write my own thing about un bodeguero who has a bodega and he has a son and he wants the son to work in the bodega, but the son wants to be an artist.
Yeah.
Sort of like me, my dad, similar to like, but in a different way. And then I'm like, that's what I'm gonna write. So then I wrote a draft. Then I got a friend of mine to write with me because he knew more about writing than I did. So he wrote it in. Then I had this friend of mine, un Mexicano. His name is Alfredo de Villa, who did a short in Colombia, and I worked in a short with him. That's how I met. And then I'm like, hey man, I wrote this thing. Read it. He's like, I love this. I'm like, well, let's go raise the money. Then I had a friend of mine, this girl that I dated. It's crazy. It's crazy, dude.
She's a friend now.
Yeah, she's I dated this chick, right? And she got married to this rich dude. And I'm like, that's my ticket. Let me go. So I went and talked to this dude, right? I went and talked to this dude, showed him the short that I'm afraid. I'm like, we're both doing this. There's a short that we did, and there's a script. He's like, how much you need? I'm like, there's what we need. And we went and shot it in my apartment. Wow. My apartment in Washington, in that thing is my apartment. In that film. And the apartment of the bad guy, of Denny, or not Bobby Cannavale's character.
Yeah.
That's my aunt's apartment.
The aunt you just mentioned previously.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
And then the basement is my It's all just the whole building is in there.
So you didn't need no location permit.
No, I was just all in my building.
You just called Tia. Voy para allá con una cámara.
And that's how we did it. It's crazy, dude. So that was my first feature as the lead, where I wasn't a bad guy, and that opened a lot of doors. Dude, that opened a whole different world for me.
You got an award for that one.
And I got a few awards for that. Right. And that opened a whole different world for me.
And that was kind of the first time you're doing something behind the scenes too. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that opened a whole different, crazy, dude. I got 100 Central Street out of that.
That's a show that was on television.
That was an A&E.
So I was having a conversation with Manny before we started rolling, and I said, you must have been in every New York crime drama on TV. All 3 Law and Orders, 100 Center Street, New York Undercover, there's another one. Oh, CSI. Bull recently.
Yeah.
CSI. SVU. So you must have been in all those crime dramas. Do they call you up like, listen, we need a Latino bad guy or
sometimes like Bull was sort of like that. They just gave it an offer. Hey, is he available? I'm like, yeah, I'm available, and it worked out. And the character wasn't Latino, but I'm like, my face is Latino, dude. Just make the character Latino. That's what I am, It's just so weird, dude. I'm like, that's what I am.
Yeah.
So then you did Watch the Heights. A lot of opportunities opened up. You did also Courage and the Fire.
That's right. Courage and the Fire. That was,
You were in Crooklyn. I got it written here, but there's also movies that I know. You're one of the few actors that.
Did you see Bullet? Bullet was this film that I did with Mickey Rourke, dude.
Really?
Back in the day. Mickey, did you guys see Bullet? Yeah, I got stabbed in the eye with a knife, dude. What? In the film. That was like one of my that was like
Mickey Rourke?
With Mickey Rourke stabbing me. I'm like, this crazy motherfucker. And that was way back in the days.
Did he really try to stab you though?
Tupac Shakur was in that film.
He was?
What?
Oh wait, that's
I know that movie. I
know exactly what movie it is now.
Tupac was in it, and my character was like Tupac's bodyguard, but I got killed. That motherfucking thing. But anyway.
So how'd you get into El Cantante? Because I know there was a point where you were doing a lot of American films, but then you...
Got you. Then I moved over to the other world.
Yeah, because La Soga, Chao, Veneno recently.
Yeah.
All these huge... Because of those films, the success of those films, the Latin American market in the last 5 years has grown so much.
For real.
Because there's a need and a want for it in the U.S.
Gotcha.
So would you still do both, or do you have like a passion to do?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, that's a great question. You know, out of Washington Heights came El Cantante.
Okay.
Out of Washington Heights came all these films. The director of El Cantante came to the set of Washington Heights because he was a friend of the DP.
Okay.
So it's crazy. The connection is crazy when you're in this business. And then that came, and then I did Illegal Tender, Pride and Glory.
yeah.
I did all these American films, like big blockbuster films. And then at that time when I wrote Washington Heights, I went to DR. I went to DR for a summer vacation. And in my town, the Baitoa, there was this dude, right? It's crazy. This dude that showed up. Un tiguerito ahí, un joven morenito, en un carrito, un Toyota con mucho hoyo, bullet holes, whatever. And he pulls up, right? He pulls up. And he knocks at my neighbor's door. And I'm like, and he's coming in. He's undercover, but he has 2 police officers with him.
Yeah.
So he comes in, knocks on the door. And the mom comes out, ay, no me lo maten. I'm like, what the? No me lo maten. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So everybody's like, what the hell's going on? So we show up, everybody's showing up to figure what's going on. Right. So ella entra y agarra a un tipo por la greña, lo lleva en el medio del parque, takes a gun and shoots him in the head.
Oh, shit.
Exactly. I said, oh, shit, myself. And I'm like...
So the guy was a Sicario.
I'm like, what the fuck is that? He's like, ese se llama la soga. And I was like, ¿qué?
Wait. By the way, that film.
So
if you've never seen La Soga, I highly recommend you watch it at one point.
So then I was like, I'm gonna write about that dude, but not his story, my own version of what La Soga should be. Cause that guy just straight up criminal.
Did he call you like, listen, bro?
No, hold on. Espérate. So then I did research, and then I found out that the government pays these dudes to go and take out. You got 3 strikes, you dead in the DR.
What?
At that
Really?
time.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you dead. So I was like, wow, the government pays for this, and I was like, well, I'm gonna write a story about a guy que le llaman La Soga, but he has a heart. There's a reason why he became that demon, that devil, that monster. So in my story, he has a heart and became, his dad was a butcher. He was killed by a deported drug lord and he became this Sicario.
Yeah.
That's my story. Now, the word La Soga is not his name. Es un apodo que en los 70 a la gente así le llamaban La Soga. En los 70 había un general que llamaba La Soga. En los tiempos de Trujillo había otro que llamaba La Soga. So the nicknames continues down the pipe.
My dad told me about it in the Trujillo time.
Exactly. En Trujillo un tipo que llamaba La Soga. So the word La Soga is just a little nickname como que
Like
un matador.
Like the killer, yeah.
Como en Moca hay un tipo que le llamaban Rocky Cañón. His name was Rocky, he era Cañón.
Yeah.
Otro le llamaban Tablita, because he used to keep it with fucking tabla. You know what I'm saying? That's how they used to say Tablita, because con la tabla he used to kill
The one
motherfuckers.
from my town, Ibaje, le decían La Brasa.
Ahí está.
So,
Ahí está.
we're from Moca. We live in Santiago, but we're originally from Moca. My mom probably heard that guy.
See, no, it's crazy shit. They got crazy guys with like these nicknames, and that's what they do. So anyway, so then I was like, I'm gonna write about that dude. So I wrote the story. It took me about from Washington Heights, it was 2001, to 2009 to rewrite, because I was trying to also make it current to what was happening in the DR.
Okay.
So then I wrote it, and then a friend of mine, these 2 dudes that I know, who we did a film with, and I'm like, yo, man, I got this script. And they read it like, oh my God, this is great. So I'm like, let's raise the money. So we went and raised the money with another friend of mine who lives in Texas. So he gave us $150,000. So we went to DR, which it's impossible to do a film for that amount of money.
Really?
So
Even in the Dominican, 150,000? How much is that?
Right now, you need a minimum of $800,000 to do a film in the DR.
Wow.
Minimum.
Oh, because of the permits and everything and dealing with the government.
Okay. That's because entró la ley de cine, entonces there's a whole thing behind that. Exactly. But anyway, at that point, I did it for 150. But I shot it in my town. Most of the actors are not actors; they're just regular people from neighbor of mine, whatever.
Okay.
So that's how I did it.
So La Soga, and then after La Soga was Ponchao, which
after La Soga, I did this film called El Rey de Najayo, which was the first film con la ley de cine. La ley de cine is great.
Yeah.
It came in and everybody's doing films por la ley de cine because, you know, if you are presidente, and I'm a filmmaker, okay, presidente, I want to do a film. So they have to pay tax. So what they do is they take 25% of the tax they got to pay the government and gives it to me to make a film. Then you get a certificate saying, hey, you already paid your 25%, but in reality is you gave it to me to make the film.
Manny, we're going to DR to talk to Presidente to produce the show. To produce a show from Santiago, you know, around the Monumento.
Exactly.
And we'll just, you know, put it on Dominican television.
There you go. So then I did that in the DR.
Okay.
And then I don't know, I feel like I always go back and I did Ponchao after that.
There's another one also that you did that was a comedy with Raymond and Miguel, but I'm forgetting the name.
Colau?
Yeah, I think it's Colau. Yeah.
Well, see, the reason why I keep going back to DR to do these films, and I love doing these films, is because these films are different than what's happening here in the States. In the States, I'm playing, you know, mostly stereotypical characters where I'm the bad guy, blah, blah. But in the DR, I play a Dominican guy who's trying to get by.
Yeah.
Just a human trying to get by. And with a story, with a heart.
Would you bring La Soga to the U.S. and make it a U.S.?
I mean, it premiere here though.
I know, but I mean, as
we went to the premiere.
Oh, you guys went to the premiere?
I would like my picture later.
But I mean, like, make it an American, Dominican film, but translate it into English and do the whole.
Well, I'm doing part 2 now.
Yeah.
Of La Soga.
That's
right.
And part 2 of Jack Veneno as well, right?
Yeah, Jack Veneno is happening, but now I'm doing La Soga, which is my baby again.
Yeah.
I have 3 years with the script, and it's a badass script, dude.
You know, I've been waiting.
It's like a really bad script.
For another sequel of that movie.
And that sequel takes place in the United States.
Okay.
Yeah, because
exactly. At the end, exactly. Yeah, at the end, he's back here. And then part 3 is going to go back to DR, dude.
Okay. So I'm already looking forward to that. So out of the 3 things you juggle, acting, writing, and producing, what's your favorite?
Well, I like
Which hat do you like the best?
I like the acting.
Yeah.
Because that's what that's what. But I love the writing. I love like when I'm like, oh shit, this is great, you know.
Right.
And I go crazy over it. Like for example, I was writing when I wrote La Soga, the ending of La Soga. Yeah. It's crazy, dude. Sometimes you sit right and you're like, I'm gonna write today, so you just sit. And I take an hour just to sit, and nothing comes out.
Right.
And then some days you wake up, you're like, this is it, and you start writing, and then the whole day goes by and you're still writing, and then you're like crying. You're like, why am I crying? Because you're so into like what's happening. That you start crying. And like the ending of that La Soga 2, I was crying, dude, for like a day. Wow. It's crazy because it's like I got into it in a moment. I'm like, this is so.
You're invested.
Yeah.
You're a method actor where you get really invested. Like, who was the guy? Daniel Day-Lewis. That guy, after film wraps up, it takes him a while to shed the character. Does that happen to you?
Let me tell you this. You know, I've taken all the different techniques there are out there. You know, Meisner, Stanislavski, and I've played with, I lived those moments with method, and that works for me best. Just because moments are real. Like for example, if you're on set, and all of a sudden I worked with this actor, we were on set, and we're doing the scene, right? This crazy scene, and then the director yells cut. And he takes out a phone and he's like, yo, selfie. And I'm like, you just ruined the fucking scene, dude. You know what I'm saying? Because now, because it's like, I'm in the moment. I'm like, why are you bringing the shit out?
You lose that intensity.
So, yeah, man. So that shit just doesn't work for me. So I try to tell people, hey, man, don't speak to me on set. Don't say shit to me. Leave me in the corner and leave me do my shit. Because it's real. Like, all those moments are real.
You want to keep, it's like a major, I'm going to compare it to baseball. I'm sorry to bring it Dominican's baseball, but it's like a pitcher that's on the mound. He goes back into the bullpen. He puts on a jacket on the arm that he's throwing. He wants to stay warm. He wants to stay loose.
There you go.
So it's the same thing behind.
I guess so. Yeah. I guess
So why you won't want? Let's talk about
Ridiculous
Ponchao
analogy,
first of all.
but,
Yeah.
we're gonna ride with that one.
Yeah.
Manny, thank you for supporting him. You're a good dude. Supporting him with that analogy, that was horrible.
It was horrible. You didn't like it?
It was okay. It was okay. It wasn't terrible.
Let's talk about baseball right now.
I mean, it's
We're
the same type of
Dominican
thing.
and
You want to
stuff,
stay
we're
loose.
Dominican,
Yeah.
there's baseball.
So let's talk about Ponchao first of all.
I guess.
We're talking about not ruining the moment. When
Like
you're in
you
a
just-
moment,
like you
and
just did right
you
now.
just did right now. So Ponchao's a comedy.
Yeah.
Is there a genre you favor more out of all of them?
No, I like drama. I like.
You like that
I'm
drama?
a hardcore
So you're
drama
gonna
dude.
work for that Oscar. Will we get a
That's the
Dominican
idea.
Oscar,
That's the
Academy
idea.
Award winner,
That's the idea.
or maybe even an Academy? You're gonna have to do it as a writer or director because you know it took
Gotcha.
Spike all those years.
That is true.
I'm
That
just
is
kidding,
true.
Academy.
That is true.
So
Yeah.
you said acting.
Fine.
Acting's your favorite out of all three. What is La Isla Rota?
Or La Isla Rota
Isla Rota, yeah.
is a film that comes out now in June in the DR, then comes here, I guess, in July or whatever. It's a great film, dude. It's about relationship conflict between Haiti and DR,
Yeah.
which like nobody wants to talk about.
Whoa.
Like, oh
But
shit, you
nowadays,
can't.
that's a subject
Yeah.
that people are trying to broach.
Yeah,
That's-
man.
It's
Look,
crazy,
that's
dude.
what
I'm
you
like,
gotta
what?
work.
You know, we gotta deal with that shit, dude,
Yeah.
because
Right.
we're 80% black.
Yeah.
Dominicans don't say that shit. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not black, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you, motherfucker. You black. No, I'm not black. I'm gonna get you out. So this film deals with that conflict,
Okay.
and it takes place in 1937, which is great. It's a beautiful period piece.
Yeah.
And I played this guy named Avis.
Is
who's
he a
like
villain?
hardcore motherfucker. Yeah, he's the villain.
No, of course.
Hell yeah, he is.
He's the villain, dude.
What's the
But it's great.
percentage of like villain to good guy that you played in?
Do you have like a
movies?
I
tally in
would
your
say
house?
90 villain percent and 10% good guy.
That is so
That
messed
sounds like
up.
me and what's-
Beyond.
But I have that face, dude.
Yeah,
I'm beyond.
You gotta ride it.
It's like-
You gotta take it.
So what does the story? It deals with the conflict between.
Well,
Haiti
no,
and
it's
DR?
it's about a Dominican chick who falls in love with this Haitian guy, and then you have this.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, pretty much. It's Romeo and Juliet that takes place between Haiti and DR. Then you have this guy who's mean, and he just hates
Doesn't
that
want that
race.
to happen.
Doesn't. Yeah, he hates that race.
Wow. I mean, that's something that we could relate to even
No.
modern day right now.
Right
Yeah.
now,
That's a
yeah,
tough-
you're
That's
right.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, bro.
We have a friend. He does a lot of events where he's trying to unite those two cultures. What's it called? Something Espanol or whatever.
Well, there's Dominicans love Haitian movement.
Yeah.
It's one of the
Gotcha.
things. But I think that it's kind of ridiculous, bro. Like that the fact that our island is so small, we all very similar.
Right.
Like we've shared the culture. I feel like that. Why?
It
Why
doesn't
is
make
Why is
sense-
it
doesn't
so
make sense
much
that
of a
we're
big-
so
That's just me.
we're so
conflict?
close to each other, but like
But yet
we're
so far.
yet so far. Yeah.
I mean,
We're
it's
al-
happening
we're always
today in the
against
U.S.
each
with
other,
Mexico.
but-
Oh, I'm so sorry to bring that up. It's happening exactly today. So, La Soga 2 is gonna come out, and you were also in Bella.
Yeah.
Bella.
Bella. Great film.
Bella.
Did you see? Did you see that?
That's one of the ones that I have seen a lot of your work, by the way.
That's a
lot
good
of
film,
your
dude.
work.
That's a good film.
What
was that one?
Wait, what was on?
That was with Eduardo Verástegui was in it. Alejandro Monteverde, the director, a great director.
Oh wow.
And it's a great film. And it's a great story, dude, about a waitress trying to have a child, a cook, and his brother who's trying to like figure this shit out.
And it's based in Dominican Republic.
No, it was shot here in New York. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I wanna watch that.
That
You gotta
film,
make a list, like,
that
you gotta
film
do like
won
a-
the Toronto Film Festival, which was
Yeah.
huge.
wow.
That's why
Yeah.
you won several awards.
Do you read like the scripts and you're like, damn, this movie's gonna be good.
I mean, I hope he reads
Yeah,
the
I
script.
do. I do.
No, I
and
mean, like,
I read
when-
the script
do you
and
have
I'm
like
like,
crazy reactions to like, wow, this is gonna be a good film, or you're like, it's gonna be shit, but I'm still gonna do it. Like,
yeah, that too.
Damn, I haven't got a check in a while. Let me just, I'll take
No,
care
but
of this
there's scripts that moves you so much. You're like, man, I need to be in this movie.
Yeah.
I just because it moves you so much.
right.
And those are the films you're like, wow, man, this is the one that I'm gonna bite.
So is there a role out there or something out there that you haven't done that you want to do?
You know what's funny? People used to ask me that before, and I'm like, man, no, I'm all about good story.
Yeah.
Just a good story. Like before, I was like, oh, I want to do a western. I want to play like a cowboy or some shit. And now I'm like, I just want to do a good story, you know.
Yeah.
The reason Rick is asking that question, I think, is because he's gonna bring this thing up again.
Yeah, I am
Oh
actually.
my God.
This is why we've been best friends.
Just tell
Well,
him.
We've been best friends for 30 years.
Just tell
So
him.
we do this thing also where we ask Instagram to ask questions
Gotcha.
to our guests. I've mentioned it in previous episodes. I would like to do a real film on Porfirio Rubirosa. I mean, there's been stuff that's been done, but it's not to the quality of.
I feel like I haven't seen anything that's been done.
I've seen it. I think
No, they made a film
they
recently.
made a film recently. Yeah, but it
It's a
was
three. It has like
it's like three
three.
different parts. And
Yeah.
it's, I don't know if the lead actor is he Mexican or Dominican.
No, he's Colombian.
Colombian, which makes it even worse. So one of the questions was,
I like Colombian.
I've been
I'm
watching.
not saying anything.
Well, we can't say anything wrong.
Colombian.
But you want like a Dominican to play Pablo Escobar?
Why not? Fuck it.
Okay. So
The guy that played Pablo Escobar was Brazilian, or something, right?
that was not good.
He's
That was not good.
Portuguese. He's
His Spanish was not that good. So
Spanish version, yes.
I want to
No,
do
no.
We're
We're
talking
talking
about
about
the one
the
from
one
Narcos.
from
Not from Netflix.
Narcos.
No, yeah.
So my thing is, I want to do a high quality film on that man's life.
Gotcha.
Another story that can be told is the Trujillo story, which I mean it's touched on in El Tiempo de la Mariposa with Mark Anthony, but the movie I don't think is about him. It's more about the sisters.
Exactly.
So there's this, and you know, I'm Juno Diaz, who's related to you. He did a book called
Oscar Wilde.
that could be made into a film. But my passion thing right now is Ruby Rosa.
Gotcha.
Now the question from IG was, would you play Ruby Rosa in the film?
In a film.
In a film?
About.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
He's trying to get you on camera.
I mean, that's why not? Yeah, I mean, that's a great role.
His name is Porfirio Ruby Rosa. Ruby Rosa. I think the man is an interesting story
I mean,
because
he is
of the
original
time that he
James
lived.
Bond.
Exactly.
It's not obsession. I just think he has a very interesting life.
A little shrine.
He got laid many times.
No, I mean the Great Gatsby is sort of a similar type of thing where
There's
he
been
was just.
rumors that James Bond is actually inspired. In
Yeah.
No, it is.
Yeah, there is
Ian
rumors, yeah.
Fleming was inspired by him. So that was my question. Would you be interested in that movie if somebody came with?
Yeah, no, of
Manny.
course.
Cut a check, bro. And then-
Exactly. You gotta. Exactly. You know how many times I got laid in that
down
movie?
on the paper, write it
You know what I'm
down.
saying?
Write it down right there. And give it, fold
But
it
it's
up and give it to
Idente,
Manny.
so that's the next film that we're gonna work
That's
on.
so funny.
Justin, are you willing to direct it? Justin will do it.
Hell yeah.
Justin's great with it. So yeah.
Cut a check.
Wait, we want to.
Yes.
Jack Veneno. Would you consider one of your hardest roles?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It was the hardest thing I ever done in my life. And physically, mentally, the way he speaks, the way he talks, is so different than me.
Yeah.
Yo soy un campesino que hablo con la I, la vaina.
Yeah.
Yo lo sé. Este tipo es un hombre sofisticado, loco. He
Really?
speaks, yeah, dude. He's articulate, and his voice is very deep. And he stands, and he has a stand of always never like this, like I do. He's always up, looking at you down, like you're a fucking piece of shit. I mean, that's what I mean. And it's great.
Yeah.
So because I met with him out there a couple of times. I'm like, wow, this guy has that
Posture, yeah.
presence.
Yeah.
So that was hard to do because I'm always like this.
Emulate that.
And
Did you
so-
have to gain weight?
so I
the
gained-
facial hair and all that.
Yeah, I grew my hair, I grew the shit. I gained 20 pounds, and when I came back to New York, dude, I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, all kinds of shit. My doctor's like, yo, you need to go on a diet ASAP.
Did you do some wrestling with?
Yeah, I did. I got
yeah.
my ass beat, and I got hit here, bro.
So you
Por
took
3
some bad
días.
bumps.
Por 3 días, I was like, cojo loco. Couldn't put it off. It's
Did
crazy,
you train with
man.
any like wrestlers from out there?
I'm sorry?
Did you train with any wrestlers?
Well, no, they went and got some wrestlers from Mexico, dude.
Oh.
Badass.
Lucha. Okay.
The lucha libre, badass.
So Jack Veneno beat Ric Flair for the NWA heavyweight title.
That's right.
That's true.
And because the U.S. did not want
And that's part 2, by the way.
the title, oh, okay. So I'm
Oh, damn.
kind of.
I'm just saying.
Spoiler alert.
I'm just saying.
I've I'm a big wrestling buff, and that's always one thing that when we get into arguments, I always throw that. I was like, well,
But it's true.
your boy took a loss.
But you know what happened behind that whole scene, right?
Because Ric Flair didn't want to get killed by the Dominicans.
Exactly. Did you know that? There was a whole story behind that.
Yeah.
They had to throw a motherfucker behind a trunk of a car to take him out. Yeah, they did.
So
To get him out of the
Agar
country,
is here.
they threw him out of the trunk.
From La Factoria, by the way.
Hey!
I guess I'm the only one who saw Lucky 7. Tell me about that character. You haven't seen it, Ricky?
You haven't seen Lucky 7?
Oh, you have to see
Dude,
that.
it's on, I think it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Lucky 7.
Really?
Lucky
Yeah,
7.
it's a funny
But
character.
not with you. Oh, tell me about that character
Okay.
because that was.
I'm gonna
that was fun.
Okay, Lucky 7 is about 7 characters who are all like studs. They're like models and whatever.
Right.
And they want to do this heist.
Yeah.
And then when they offered me the part, they were like, hey man, you're the bad guy. And you're also a stud. And I'm like, well, I play the bad guy all the time. But let me do this. Can I do a twist to this bad guy? He's like, sure, do what you gotta do. So I'm like, okay, great. So now get this. Back in DR, right, I have a friend of mine, que cojo. He is, what's the word, unstable?
He has a limp.
He has a limp,
Yeah.
huge fucking limp. He's in a wheelchair. Okay. So he used to be a bad boy. So he used to take a lot of manteca, heroin, and then someone put gasoline and mixed it.
Jesus, that's not how you cut heroin, by the way.
And mixed it.
Just in case.
And then he le dio un patatú.
Yeah.
You know what patatú is?
Stroke.
He had a stroke. He had a stroke.
Un yello.
Un yello.
Yeah,
He had a stroke, and then he became paralyzed. Half of his body's paralyzed. So I was like, what if this dude happened? What happened if that happened to this dude? So I took that and made this dude. And
Oh, I've seen the photos of it.
so
Where you're
exactly. So that's that dude.
Yes.
So that's that dude.
Wow.
So then I was like, I want to be the bad guy. I want to be that dude to be the bad guy. And then I made him gay and made him shit. So I was like, he was like, so he was like all over the place. And that sort of worked for the character. Really worked for the film. You know?
Oh, you were on Luke Cage as well on Netflix. That was a good show.
Yeah.
The Blacklist, Hawaii 5-0. Oh, wow.
You're just gonna list all of them. Go ahead.
He's in like 79 films.
Yeah, bro.
I'm lucky, dude. I'm lucky.
The Night Of, is that the HBO? The Night
That's
Of?
the HBO.
So that's one of my favorite shows on television. It was only a miniseries. It's on HBO. If you haven't seen it, it's a really good show.
Yeah, it's only get one season. Yeah.
But it's so good. That was actually done by James Gandolfini before he died, and then HBO took it over, and they did the show, and they still have him as the executive producer on the show.
Exactly. Okay.
Which was nice of
It's a
them.
really
You
good
know?
show.
I mean, he did 15, 20 years as Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
So anybody else in the audience has a question? Inspiring actors and actresses that are sitting there. So let's start
And
with
mothers.
and mothers.
And mothers.
And let's start with Julissa first. She's in the audience.
So, it kind of sounds like you had to make your own. Like for example, you said that you were always cast as the bad guy, the villain.
Yeah.
But you had to make your own opportunity, kind of your own role, so you could break out and win all the awards for the Washington Heights movie.
Yeah.
So what would you say to those people out there that or to the aspiring actors out there in general, because that can fit everyone. When one door closes, you have to make your own opportunities, kind of.
And I truly believe in that. I say two things. First of all, if you know, the day has 24 hours. If you take one hour of your day to sit in front of your computer and just sit there and say, okay, what can I write? What line can I put in today? Or what idea do I have today? And then tomorrow you have another hour. And then in a year you have 364 or whatever. So that's something for you to, you know, to have an idea or an outline of what you want to do. And just write. And I really believe a good story is hard to find nowadays. Everybody's doing shit. And a good story is hard to find.
Or redoing something that has already been
Exactly,
done.
and that's what they do.
Yeah.
So I feel like, man, if you can just write your own, and look, I found money for Washington Heights. Una tipa que yo era, que se casó, and then she was like married to some rich dude. I'm like, that's my ticket.
That's my ticket.
Loco, and that's how I did it. So that was my first one, you know. Then the second one got easier, you know. But I feel like you know, to create your own. And also, I have to say, que si yo, if I came from a town que no había agua ni electricidad, I didn't have shoes, and I'm where I am, you motherfuckers can be president someday. I mean, that's why I see it, because I feel like, man, you know, why not? You know, why not?
So
there you go. Damn, you just ruined the whole thing to me.
Everybody's commute is about an hour. So I think like while you're on the train, you got an iPhone or whatever, you could still do your thing there also and during your
That's
commute.
right. That's true.
So AJ, you had a question, and then my mother over there has a question too.
I'm a Dominican American, first generation. One of the movies that inspired me to be an actor was Washington Heights.
Oh wow, thanks, man.
So I saw you and I was like, wow, this guy's from Washington Heights. He put it on the, on the big screen. Oh my God, I went to 181st to see it.
Thanks, bro.
It's close now.
Yeah.
In any case, so I'm getting a lot of bad guy rules right now, just like you. Maybe it's the eyebrows. I don't know what it is.
It's the face.
I'm in the co-star level, guest star type of thing. What advice do you have for me in terms of, I go through a lot of ups and downs, I'm not sure, there's now all this streaming going on. I'm kind of just getting with a manager type of thing. I don't know how to really speak to them. I think I'm blessed that I have a manager when I hear that they're really working for me type of thing. I'm just kind of looking for guidance a little bit.
Gotcha. Well, no. First of all, thank you, man, for those amazing words about Washington Heights.
It was, man.
No, thank you. Appreciate it. See, the way I see it is that, with this face, I always play the bad guy. But what I try to do, in all these bad guys, they have a heart. And I always try to find the heart in that guy. Because I feel like I have a nephew who does this shit in the street. And he's a bad guy because he does shit in the street, but there's a reason why he does it. And I feel like there isn't, at the end of the day, there isn't any such thing as a bad guy. It's just people trying to get by. So when I get a role that is very stereotypical or lo que sea, I just try to find the heart in there and make them lovable, because we're all humans, dude, and we all have a heart. And that's how I look at bad guys, And then in regards to agents and managers, man, I'm a pest. I call that motherfucker. I'm like, yo, what's going down, dude? Yeah, listen, I'm doing this thing, man, blah, 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 blah. But, I always do that. Or I try to help his ass by, if I have a friend of mine who's going in for an audition, I'm like, hey, my friend is going on this, how come I'm not going in? But anyway, there's the information. Can I get in? And, that's your job is not to wait for him, but make him do his shit, because you're going to pay him 10 or 15%. It's up to you. But I always, I'm that type of dude, who's always out to get more jobs. Yeah. Well, yeah, on top of him, and also me get my own jobs, and then tell him, hey, man, my friend is going in on this. I could go in too. Can you hook me up,
Full corporate.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go to his office, bro.
And connect, like also, and connect with other actors, connect with other Latinos who are also in the business. And share the news, share the news, Networking, that's the word. Yeah.
So, Mom, you had a question too. That's my mother, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Hello.
Well, I had a lot of questions prior to, but she keeps pushing me. I have a story that has like how many years in the making?
A lot of years.
What?
The writing.
Sounds like you're funny right now.
It's a great story.
Trying to pitch a movie?
Picture the movie on my show, Ma?
It's like I'm there, sitting down. I'm sitting down there, but I haven't even given the first step to doing that because I am very afraid of it. The story is really good. How do you break out of that cycle of I'm afraid to do it and go get it? Because I am not
confident.
outgoing.
Gotcha.
I may seem outgoing, but I'm not.
Gotcha.
Mom, you're from Mocha. You're very
How do
outgoing.
you break the ice and just say,
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if you have this amazing story, sit down and write an outline of what this is. For example, first step, second step, third step, 5 step. This is the ending. So you have a middle a beginning, middle, and end of your story. Just have the outline of it. It could be a 1 page. It could be 10 lines of like bullet points of what it is, you know. Then once you have that, you can just hire a writer. Have your daughter, have your brother, have your daughter, have your son write it, and then once you have a story already written, it makes it easier to just shop it around or to approach whomever.
Wow.
And
My
it makes.
problem is, I think the
smart.
story is too great.
What?
And
Maybe it's a
don't
book.
feel
What?
that I am as good to even write about it as she read
Gotcha.
part of it. I don't think that this is worthy of
You writing it?
You feel like you could get a better writer too.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said,
Well, that's
Yeah, that's what he just said. He
hire a writer,
Tell
do a
Richard
summary.
To do
Yeah, like
Yeah,
do
but
a
you don't want
summary
me to write it.
or an
Tell them to give you some
outline,
money.
and then find someone and be like, "Yo, this is a good writer." Oh, your daughter, or your son. I mean, he loves to talk.
Yeah.
The same thing as as thing as writing. You're just right. Yeah, I mean, it's I feel like it's all about sitting down and just putting your thoughts on a piece of paper.
Yeah, we believe in it.
By
And
the way, Jack Veneno was my childhood
Hero?
hero before my brother took it away from Jack.
gotcha.
Wow.
But because he said he was stronger than Jack Veneno, and I believe him.
Wait,
It's-
which brother is this, man?
You know who it is. You know
I
who
have
it
an
is.
uncle who's
Bartolo,
4'11".
yeah.
Who's bone skinny?
Hold
He
on.
got a beer belly. He got a beer belly.
Shout
I
out
thought
Bartolo.
he was going to be bigger because Jack Veneno is the biggest man, and he is like, and I'm like, oh, Bartolo, man, he could have done that. Yeah.
I doubt it.
Shout out Bartolo.
That's funny.
I love my
You
uncle
have,
always.
you have a lot of hair. My brother don't have no hair.
Gotcha.
He's bald. That's it.
That's funny. Well,
He
thank
also has a huge beer belly.
thank you.
So La Isla Rota comes out June 13th, I
June
think.
June
The
13th.
day after my birthday. in
And
New
then
York.
August 2nd, I promote this.
Yeah.
I have a film called Coyote Lake that comes out here in the United States.
Okay.
Lady Lake.
Coyote Lake.
It's pretty cool, man.
And you're currently in pre-production for La Soga 2.
La Soga 2,
Yes.
which is happening in Providence, Rhode Island.
why so far for us?
Well,
We cannot go to the auditions.
I'm going.
yeah, it's official.
I'm going to audition.
But it's not that hard.
We'll be there. We're gonna drive out there. So I want to thank Manny Perez for coming on the show. I just want to see more films, man. Yeah, I think
No,
one day I will be watching TV, ABC, the Oscars, and you'll get one of those statues, the well-deserved statues.
Amen. Amen.
Yo,
And-
you're an inspiration to everybody that comes from places like we come from.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
Washington
Thank
Heights.
you.
We appreciate you a lot.
Santiago.
Thank you.
Santiago. Sí mismo,
Santiago,
sí.
Santiago.
Santiago.
La Ciudad Corazón.
We'll see you guys next week. Manny, thank you for
No,
coming
thank you for
out.
having me.
Man.
Thank you.
La Soga 2, Isla Rota,
Coyote Lake.
Coyote Lake.
all that shit. Law and Order, everything.
Washington Heights 2. It's
No,
coming.
no, no. Watch the guys too.
That's it, bro. Manny, thank you so much.
Yeah, marvelous. Okay. Yeah, I'm on my Frank Lucas shit. 3-piece suits, Valentino cufflinks, LV shoes. I bring the shorty closer, just enough to feel the gun on the holster. Out on the balcony, feeling on the breeze. City skylines, we're puffing on some trees. Cup of Henny on the rocks with the soda. Maybach, front of the building with the chauffeur. Yeah, and he waiting on me. Got umbrella in his hands and my name in the seats. No gift, baby, no thanks. No chinchillas, baby, so what happened to Frank? No phone calls, transactions hand in hand. Give the drugs to Rick, the money to Benny Banks. Talk to Craze and he talks to me. Keep my business out the streets, it's the ART.